Good day, everyone. So I'm gonna discuss the Family Code of the Philippines. So the Family Code of the Philippines was enacted in 1987. Executive Order Number 209. It is the primary law governing domestic relations in the country. So its core mandates are to regulate interactions within families and safeguard the institution of marriage and the rights of children, ensuring stability and justice in household and kinship matters. So first is marriage. Marriage is defined as a special contract of permanent union between a man and a woman. So this section covers requisites, includes essential elements like legal capacity of parties, consent freely given in presence of solemnizing officer, and formal requirements which is license, public ceremony, and competent solemnizer. Then, validity. It determines if a marriage meets all legal standards to be recognized as binding under the law. Second is void and voidable marriages. So this addresses unions that are not legally enforceable. So void marriages, invalid from the start, with no legal effect. Grounds include incest marriages, unions between parties below 18, or those solemnized without legal authority. Effects include no property relations except for co-ownership of acquired assets and no right to support between parties. Next is voidable marriages. So valid until annulled by court order. So grounds include lack of parental consent. For example is minors 18 to 21 years old. Fraud, forced intimidation, physical incapacity, or sexually transmissible disease at the time of marriage. So effects revert the parties to their pre-marriage status once annulled. Third is legal separation. A court decree that allows spouses to live separately without dissolving the marriage bond. So since divorce is generally not allowed in the Philippines. Grounds includes repeated physical violence, emotional abuse, drug, alcohol, addiction, infidelity, abandonment, or imprisonment of a spouse for at least 6 years. Consequences. Spouses lives apart, property relations are adjusted. Custody of children is determined and support obligations are enforced. But the marriage remains intact, so neither can marry. Number 4 is rights and obligations of spouses. So outlines mutual duties and entitlements. Fidelity. Both spouses must remain faithful and avoid extramarital relationships. Support includes financial, emotional, and medical support for each other and their dependents. Other rights or obligations cover joint decision-making on family matters, managing the household, and respecting each other's dignity. Fifth is property relations. So governs how assets and debts are owned and managed during marriage. So absolute community of property or ACP, default regime if no prenuptial agreements exist. All properties owned by spouses before marriage and acquired during marriage are considered community property divided equally if the marriage ends. CPG or conjugal partnership of gains. Properties acquired during marriage are conjugal and split equally while each spouse retains ownership of assets they brought into the marriage and inheritances, gifts received individually. Family home. So a designated dwelling where the family resides, granted special legal protection. So protection. It cannot be sold, mortgaged, or disposed of without court approval, even if it's part of the conjugal or community property to ensure the family has a stable residence. Beneficiaries includes spouses, their legitimate or recognized illegitimate children, and dependent relatives living in the home. Seventh is the parental authority and support. Defines the right and responsibilities of parents towards their children. So rights and duties includes custody, education, discipline, choosing the child's name, and managing the child's property. Parents also have the right to represent their children in legal matters. Child welfare. The law prioritizes the best interests of the child in all decisions covering access to basic needs like food, shelter, and healthcare. Also, education and protection from abuse or exploitation. Support obligations extend to both legitimate and illegitimate children and may continue beyond minority for children with disability or pursuing higher education. So that would be all.